what should you buy first, your primary home or an investment property? This is a great question. I kind of go back and forth on this one because I think there's pros and cons on both options. What my wife and I did, we bought our primary, we bought something we could easily afford. We lived in it for 5 years, and then we moved and bought a second property and then rented out our first one. And the reason why I like that is because I'm not throwing my money away on rent. I think that's the only thing that kind of, in today's day with rent being so gosh dang high, if you are just buying your investment properties, I think if I would have just bought investment property first, I still would have had thousands of dollars going towards rent a month, 100% out. Yes, I have the luxury. I think that's the benefit of rent, is that you have the luxury to kind of bounce around. But I think financially, it's not necessarily the best play. There are some situations where that kind of that can work itself out. But I think buying your primary first. Not necessarily the $1 million home first, but buying a property first for you to live on, so that you can get out of the rat race of renting, because it definitely is, and not have to worry about what your payment going to be like every 12 months. And I can almost guarantee you your rent every 12 months is going to be different. Because it's going to increase, and so you can kind of get that out, and then shortly after that you can invest into real estate and buy an investment property. I think one thing I could have done differently is I could have invested into real estate sooner by buying out of state. Now, I've definitely developed on buying out of state. For a while, I was completely against it. And I am against it in some situations, but if I would have been a little bit more open-minded and learned more about other landlord-friendly states, I could have invested into real estate and had more units in my portfolio if I would have been open to that sooner. So I think if I would have talked to myself 10 years ago, because it was about 10 years ago is when I bought my first property, I would have still bought that property because that's done really well for myself. But then shortly after that, looked to also buy out of state, because I'm in California, and so prices here are different than most states, and so are the rules here. But yeah, that's kind of my take on if you should buy your primary first or an investment property.